All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the D.O.G Sports Podcast. I'm joined here with Drew, also OC the G. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
How you been?
How'd you guys enjoy the game?
Oh, just get straight on into it. No
Screw
jokes,
it,
nothing.
dude. Let's go it. Let's do it.
F it.
A lot closer than I thought.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
It was a good
for
game.
sure.
I enjoyed it.
That's what we were talking about. We were talking about how it looked like it was going to be a blowout up until Odell's injury.
Yeah, the momentum swing.
Yeah, because at one point it was 13-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looked like they were going to go up 14-3, and then the missed PAT,
Right.
which with the holder dropped, and then
I was getting Tony Romo flashbacks. Not gonna lie.
yeah, and then and then the Bengals drive down the field. Mixon throws the touchdown pass.
Mixon.
The halfback pass.
The halfback pass. They developed the run pretty well in that
They
drive,
did.
and I feel like they got away from it really soon. And then that's when the Odell injury happened, and then that what's led into halftime. That was insane, man. It was a good game. I enjoyed it.
Odell injury. Odell injury, and then the very next play is an interception.
Oh, that's
to
right.
Van Jefferson, the corner of the end zone.
Jesse Bates in the end zone. Huh?
Yeah.
Jesse Bates, interesting. He was one of their best players like 2 years ago. And then this past year, remember we were talking about earlier, we can't name any stars on that defense. I completely forgot about him. He was actually a really good safety.
I think he was a Pro Bowler last year.
Yeah, or the year before.
Yeah.
And then this past year, he just had a bad year. I think just overall. But
yeah, you go like 4-12. No one's really doing well.
That wasn't the best throw, but it wasn't terrible. Jefferson didn't really make any play on the ball.
he took a shot, Bradford.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
Stafford.
I keep saying Bradford.
Damn.
Stafford.
Sam,
Sorry.
no?
Put respect on his name. He beat Jimmy G.
The guy,
you learned this man's name.
The guy who's sipping on Don
Julio.
Julio 1942. Did you guys see the photographer that fell?
Yeah, I just seen it right now.
I
just seen it.
I didn't see it, but I heard Stafford laughed, and then he got like.
Well, yeah, he kind of just goes,
it.
"Oh shit," and then just walks away.
Well,
and
she
then,
fell like off a 10-foot stage. Like,
yeah, like what is he supposed to do? Save her?
Like, is he
Well,
gonna jump down there too?
down
He's
there?
paying for hospital bills.
Yes,
Yeah, he is.
Uh-huh.
And then, like she fractured her spine or something like that, or
Her
injured her
spinal
spine.
cord.
Yeah, something like that.
Brutal.
But yeah, he took a lot of heat for it, which I felt like is unfair.
Yeah, like you said, what are you supposed to do? You're like, you're gonna jump down 10 feet.
Exactly. Just attend to her right away. Hey, the dude just won a Super Bowl, man, after a 12-year career.
Probably very intoxicated.
Yeah, I was gonna say he
Probably at that
was
point.
drinking a bottle of water. He probably should have stepped away from that.
Dude, he's got a speech with a bottle of Don Julio 1942 in his hand.
Which I thought that was dope.
Not holding the Lombardi trophy, holding
The
Don
1942.
Probably would have dropped
sipping
the
it out of
trophy,
the
that's
bottle.
why.
Probably. Like Tom throwing it across what the river in
I
Tampa
still
Bay.
cringe when that happened. I'm like, what if I think about like, what if that trophy just had gone into
the water?
into the water.
Nah, they would have fished it out.
Yeah,
Come on,
they
dude.
would have, but it
Tom's
would
like,
have been
whatever.
hilarious.
I've held
Yeah.
it 6 other times.
Yeah, I got it 6 other times.
These don't
remember
mean anything to me.
the
I use them as paperweights.
the
Bookends.
family. The family of the guy that made the trophy, I remember when they did that. This is disrespectful to my
Oh,
dad's
that's right,
artwork.
yeah.
Everyone's like, chill out. Tom's got like 6 of those. It
It
should
ain't-
be named after him.
It ain't that. Even in like all sports, it's not like the coolest trophy out there. It's a football on top of a like podium. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's true. It's not very creative.
There's a lot of better trophies out there than the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah. Like the World Cup trophy is pretty
Yeah.
dope.
World Cup trophy,
Because
sick.
it's actually gold.
It's actual gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's only one. Remember, like they pass it between like the countries that win and stuff.
The Stanley Cup's probably one of my favorites.
That was pretty cool.
It's the same
I like that
trophy
one.
everywhere. It's like fucking like this big. It's
Yeah.
heavy as hell. Hand engraved every team's
Mhm.
name on there.
The national championship trophy is pretty dope too.
Isn't it just
The
like crystal
CFP
ball?
one?
Yeah, I think that's tight. Or you guys don't think so?
I think
It's
it was
okay.
alright. I like the World Series trophy. All
Yeah.
32 flags. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Well, when the commissioner just called it a piece of metal, I kind of lost respect for it too. It's just a bunch of little little flagpoles.
Yeah, little waving flags on it.
But yeah, anyways, Super Bowl 56. Rams pull it off 26-20 or 23-20. We all kind of expected it, right?
Yeah.
I was rooting for the Bengals at one point. Like it was an interesting game. Like we said, it looked like it was going to be a blowout up until that Odell injury. And then I kind of caught myself, especially coming out in the second half, I kind of caught myself rooting for the Bengals a little bit because it almost looked like they were going to pull it off, right? Where they come back and then they have the big play right away, right, to T. Higgins, the miss offensive pass interference call, if you want to call it.
Good.
Yeah.
You said it.
Yeah, I think we all agree.
Because there's people crying and still arguing that, they didn't call anything until the end of the game. Yeah, it's a makeup call because they didn't call that.
It's a makeup call. It's a big-time makeup call.
They missed that call. But it's easy for us to be like, oh, yeah, they missed it because we watched it all in slow motion.
Yeah.
But if you watch it in real time.
The line judge is not in any position to make that call.
Because
the call had to come from the opposite end of the
field. If you see it in real time, it's like it's a quick tug. Yeah. It's like you don't see it. And then like you said, the line judge is like behind him.
He's behind the play.
He's blocked from the receiver.
He can't see
all he can see is the receiver's back.
It's just the receiver's back, exactly. And then Ramsey fell, but it happened just so quick. There's human error when it comes to calls like that. Yeah, and it's just had they stuck with the rule, like if pass interference call being reviewable.
Someone at the Super Bowl at my uncle's asked, like, can't they challenge that? And I was just like, no, they took that out because could you imagine all the time that would be wasted even more on top of like all the turnovers?
Right. That's true.
Because it was getting out of hand,
Yeah. We'll get into the calls a little bit later. But yeah, and then the interception right away. I think that was huge when the Bengals weren't able to capitalize off of it when they just got the field goal. Off the interception.
I thought like if you're gonna go win this game, I was like, if the Bengals want to win this game, you're gonna score a touchdown right here. Yeah. But they left the door just enough to.
Yeah, dude. What did you guys think was the Bengals' biggest downfall?
The offensive line.
Yeah, for sure. We can all agree with that, right?
After they went up, like when they took the T. Higgins touchdown and then they got that field goal and then
they couldn't develop a run game.
They couldn't get anything going. They got away from, like you said, they got away from it.
They got away from the run game. But the Rams made a pretty interesting adjustment when they started aligning 3 defensive linemen onto one side of the line and forcing Aaron Donald to go one-on-one, which paid off big time at the end of the game. He was just
getting that straight rush, the straight bull rush.
Well, yeah, and that's what led to the field goal, right? After the interception was Aaron Donald getting a sack.
Yep.
Right?
First sack of the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, first sack of first sack of the game.
Well, I guess technically not. I guess the one where he shoves him out of bounds.
That's right. That was the second sack of the game
because that was behind the line.
It was behind the line of scrimmage. That's right. But for sure, we could all agree that the offensive line for the Bengals was
they got outplayed in the fourth, especially in the fourth quarter. I mean,
for sure, big time.
It just felt like they got real conservative, like with their play calling. Like I was telling one of my buddies, I was like, they were taking shots on like that play right out of halftime. They were taking shots on early downs, like first, second down, and they were getting Jamar the ball, they were getting T. Higgins the ball, and then like when it was crunch time, when they were up, they're just like they just started regressing, like they just started being conservative with all their play calls.
They started playing passive.
Yeah, and it was just like you literally took the lead because you were taking shots. You were
aggressive.
And then now, like, that you have the lead, you're just, like, playing,
And Jamar Chase, when he beat Ramsey in that first big play.
Ramsey got beat all night, basically.
Yeah, he had him on his skates, dude. And then even that the very last play, if you go back to it, Jamar Chase was open.
He clipped his foot, though.
But, I mean, that's getting open, right? Yeah. Jalen Ramsey, he played... he didn't play his normal game. Like he was off. He was
probably
big time.
My most disappointing moment.
If the Bengals would have won, Ramsey would have been the one that was
taking a lot of.
Yeah, he would have been the one getting mean with burnt toast and all that.
Toast, not Eli Apple. Letting Cooper. Well, we were talking about that too. How Eli Apple gave that up, but they were also talking about how they had never ran a fade to Cooper. So Eli Apple's probably just assuming, he's gonna try to run inside. Yeah, so he lined up way inside.
It wasn't even that great of a throw though. Like it was like a 3-yard fade.
Well, it was a back shoulder.
It was just Eli was just.
But it wasn't even really a back shoulder. Like if Eli would have just turned his head, like
it was over the top. But Eli, if you look at the alignment, he's way off, like right away.
Yeah, and then the setup they did the slow mo where Coop set him up, like he was like stacked, like he was like head up on him. Mm-hmm. And then Cooper's movement off the line kind of like shoved him just enough inside to give him that space.
Well, they talk about when you're running routes and as a receiver, it's attacking the DB. So it's like you're running right at him and then just creating space that way.
It was weird because he took like this little like a false step backwards.
Yeah.
And kind of like it made it look like he was gonna go
He was
inside.
gonna go inside.
And then
Yeah.
It was nasty. I was like, oh man.
It was And then for them never to be able to practice that too, and then just run it right off the gate
For the win.
That was awesome, because that's normally what we're talking about. There was normally a play that they throw to Odell, right?
True. You seen it on the first touchdown when he.
That was the first touchdown
when he ran the wheel route.
Yeah, because he lined up inside. Was it against Eli Apple?
No,
I don't remember.
He was on. Mike Hilton was on.
Mike Hilton, that's right.
Because I thought it was Eli Apple immediately, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, it's Mike Hilton.
Yeah. But yeah, that Odell injury, it affected the game.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
changed it.
Big time.
Yeah, because then the Rams couldn't run the ball at all during the game.
Well, they couldn't run the ball from the get-go.
Yeah.
And once they took out Odell, it was like, you got Cooper Kupp, and that's it.
That was it.
You ain't got nothing else going for you.
Because they knew it.
No Higbee.
Yeah,
He was so he was out.
Van Jefferson had like 1 or 2 catches.
I think he had a couple of catches. Yeah. But yeah, it went all Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, and that the Bengals knew that, so they doubled them up.
Right. Yeah, and that's what we were talking about that earlier. Was like this game was kind of poetic the way it kind of played out. Like I don't think you could have scripted it any better. With just like there's the back and forth, the injuries to both quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And seeing them get rolled up. That was when seeing Joe Burrow scream. That scared me.
I thought it was torn ACL.
Shu texted us. He's like, "You think Burrow goes back in?" I was like, "Why wouldn't he?" Because I saw on TV that he
was pushing everybody away.
Yeah, he was like, "No, get away from me."
He was cool.
He wasn't taking medical attention.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm good."
Because he walked off on his own.
Yeah.
Well, he limped off, I guess, on his own. Because
that's why I answered Shu. I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like,
why?
He's like his knee injury, but I had thought like everyone had seen that he waved everyone off.
Right.
So I was like,
Shu don't pay attention to that. Come on, now that's too much work. That's too much work. But then again, I mean, Shu was panicking because he doesn't want to see Ramsey win a Super Bowl. Because
Jags fan.
Jags fan. He don't want to see.
I was gonna say the only Jags fan, but there's a Jags fan in the corner of that end zone in the game. If you guys noticed, he was wearing a Trevor Lawrence jersey.
I noticed the guy waving the Colorado flag.
Yeah. Oh, it was on the opposite end.
I saw that one. But yeah, going into the Jalen Ramsey stuff, and then how the Rams acquired all these superstars. Do you guys think that's going to be the new blueprint leading up into the next seasons? I mean,
Tom
because
Brady's
even if you look
recently, the Rams just
even if you look at the Bengals, their defense, 7 of their starters weren't there the year before. So it's almost like they kind of build it up.
But you know what? That defense did not go get big name players. They got players that fit into
their scheme,
into the scheme, into the role. I mean,
kind of like
there's no home run hitters on that defense.
The Moneyball approach, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They fit into the scheme. They fit into the DC's game plan, and that's what made them shine.
Yeah.
So yeah, they went out and got 7 new guys, but it's not like they went out and got Von Miller or Ramsey or any of these other big impact players.
Well, what's interesting about that you bring that up, it's not necessarily like they went out and chased those guys.
Agents.
No. Well, those guys were available. There was a reason why those guys were available. The Broncos were looking to trade Von Miller, right? And then the Rams came up with a better offer. Same thing with Ramsey and the Jags. Though both players came from teams that were trying to essentially rebuild, right, or clear house and acquire picks. That's pretty much what they did. And then Odell was a free agent because there was other teams that went after Odell, but I guess the Rams had the better offer. So it's not like necessarily like they went out and
really Stafford's only the big guy that they went
and got after, right? But also too, I mean, Stafford was also, again, he was available. Had they tried that the year before, they would have been like, no, go screw yourself, right?
Hey,
yeah.
Interesting that like you're talking about the picks and how they set it up. Well, if you notice the shirt that the GM wore,
F them picks.
And then he said, yeah,
that was
a picture of himself, and it just said F them picks.
That was pretty cool that they're buying into that.
Yeah, and then
like,
he said it again, like when he got on the podium, he's like F them picks. I
That was my first time seeing.
now.
That was my first time seeing the GM, or I think it was after the game when he went up to. I think it was like the NFL Network podium that they were interviewing everybody, and he kind of just goes up. He's like got a regular T-shirt on. He's got a hat. He looked like he was like
a fan.
No, not like an equipment guy.
Oh, okay.
Like he looks exactly like you would think, like the equipment guy who's just rah on the sideline and then just talking all kinds of shit. But he's the guy who put it all together.
He's the architect of the
and I was like, but I feel like that's a testament to their culture there in LA now, which is like McVay. You got a younger coach. He's not necessarily a coach who's going to come in and just like, oh, we got to change culture and like. It's my way or the highway type thing. It's almost like you kind of get the feel like everybody contributed to them winning the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Like the season, like
feels like a very college like atmosphere.
Not even college like atmosphere. I feel like this is more or less like the new professional atmosphere where everybody comes in, they do their work, and they do it well. Right, which is like everybody's allowed to come in, and it's almost like a collaboration. Mm-hmm. It's like a team project. Which I mean, they have their one leader, McVay, sure, but it's not like he's the one doing all the work, right? I feel like college atmosphere is like for Urban Meyer, for example, where he came in and he wanted to control and dictate everything.
He's a player's coach. He lets his guys do what they do.
He's what, 38 years old or 36 years old. So. And then he didn't have any head coaching experience prior to that. So it's like it's not like he came in like preaching culture or like, oh, we're going to dictate whatever these guys do day in, day out. He let his superstars be superstars, and then it paid off because you see in the game it was the big superstars making the plays. Yeah, they're the ones that showed up. Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and then Aaron Donald the last couple plays, which just sealed the win.
I still think Aaron Donald should have won the MVP. It
would have been dope. But by then Cooper Kupp had already
but he like if you take out that last drive, like he really didn't like what he had 92 yards on 8 catches, but going into that drive he had Cooper like maybe Kupp, 40 yards.
It was the last drive for sure.
As to where Aaron Donald pretty much dominated that fourth quarter.
I think you can give it to either guy. I don't think I think you can argue both guys. Without them, they don't win the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, you can argue it. I think there were several players you could have argued for. Stafford.
No,
you don't think so?
No, throwing two picks, you're not gonna win it. Like as soon as he threw the second one, I was like, oh, that's out the window. And then he didn't even throw for more than I think he threw for 286 or 284.
He
under 300.
But that's also kind of what I mean is so it's like you can't necessarily just point to one guy and just like this is why we won. Everybody contributed, right? Mm-hmm. Like even Von Miller got a sack.
Yeah,
he came up on a third down. Leonard Floyd had one.
They had like what 9-10 sacks as a team.
So 7 sacks. Yeah, so.
Again, ask me again what we think went wrong for the Bengals.
It was the offensive
line. On top of all the pressures that they made him run.
But a majority of them came in the second half.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Did he get sacked at all in the first half?
Yeah, Aaron Donald's push out of bounds.
That was the only sack.
Mm-hmm. So the game plan was get the ball out of his hands quick, early.
And it was working.
Yeah.
Because and you remember, I think there was like a 3rd and 1. I think I told you guys about it. Where they ran a little slip screen to Jamar Chase and picked it up, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like, why didn't they go back to that on that 3rd and 1? Something like that. I mean, the Rams ran a speed sweep with Cooper Kupp. They said, hey, we're going to give it to our best player.
Dude, that's
and let him do his thing.
That's the play of the game right there.
Exactly, for sure.
Because it's like, if you turn the ball over, this game's pretty much done. Because you're down 3.
Conceding the minimum of field goal.
Yeah. Or they were down 4.
Yeah, you're down 4, and you're giving them the ball inside of
with like 3 minutes left.
Because you're gonna have to use all your timeouts.
Exactly. So, and so that's what I mean. They want to talk a lot about that last play. It's just like, how do you not go to your best player right away, right? Or they talk about Aaron Donald stopping the running back with one arm.
The 3rd and 1.
The 3rd and 1.
Samaje Perine.
Exactly.
That was crazy. The crazy part is not having Joe Mixon in. Like, I get Samaji's like your 3rd down guy.
But why would you not have
your best? But let your playmakers make plays. Like, put them in the game, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, too, it's a 4th and 1. You know you're gonna go throw the ball. Why would you leave Aaron Donald one-on-one?
Hey, you just said something that like probably like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, even people would have like cringed. Like you think about how much the game has changed now. That
Right.
like on 4th and 1, it's not even about right. Well, what passing play we're gonna run right here?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean? You just need 1 yard, like. And now it's like
Flashbacks to that Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
Why would you throw
Why are we still passing on 4th and 1?
throw it?
Why are we
Yeah.
still passing on short downs?
Yeah.
Daryl Bevel, the guy that called it, got hired in Miami now. So
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. And he didn't take any. He didn't really take any heat.
he's
for
some of it, but like it was kind of like passed around.
Yeah,
you
it
know.
was like
Pete Carroll,
mostly
took a
Pete
lot,
Carroll,
yeah,
huh? Yeah,
because he's the head guy.
but I mean, yeah, it's just the big time players showed up and make big time plays. And watching the GM's interview, and then up at the podium the other day, and it's just like, oh shit, that's their culture, right? Like that's them showing up to work, and then they love what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they were talking about, or they were talking to Von Miller, and they asked him like, oh well, what did you teach these guys, or did you have anything to do with like changing the culture here or anything like that? And he goes, to be honest, I don't know anything about football. What I know is pass rush, and and I know how to sack the quarterback, and that's what I shit up and did, and we worked. We all did it together. It was a collaboration, and it paid off.
Yeah, I heard him. He just said that he was a plug and play guy.
Yeah, plug and play.
They
Yeah,
just
he
literally
said-
brought me to take pressure
Right.
off Aaron Donald, and that's what I
Mhm.
did.
He said he just showed up. He had a couple of walkthroughs, and then he was ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think that's I feel like that's going to be big, the big time blueprint leading up into the future of the NFL, which I think is super dope.
Yeah. Because they loaded up on that D line.
Right.
When you have a D line like that, they don't really have like big presence guys on the inside as far as backers go.
Yeah, because it's just up front. You really just look. It's just Donald, Floyd, and Miller.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
they have Ashawn Robinson too. The
And
other D
Ashawn
tackle.
Robinson. That's right.
That big fella.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a massive D line.
That dude got through a lot on any sort of run play.
Yeah, so it was just like you build that kind of front
Yeah.
with the best defensive player in the league,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean,
But honestly, I thought the Bengals' defensive front was just as good. I mean,
they're making plays.
They were making plays.
There was
yeah.
zero run game presence. from the
Zero
Rams.
run game, and then once they lost Odell, the Rams couldn't do much offensively because they come back in the second half. Then they're down by 10, and then it was kind of just a back and forth. It was kind of just a showing of defense there for a while, right in the third quarter, where they're kind of just going back and forth. I think that's when they both got rolled up on their ankle, right? Watching Bradford get rolled up.
It was
for
like
Stafford.
a gimpy crawl to the finish line between the two quarterbacks. Like who's gonna just last the longest?
And that's what I was like, oh, dude, we're not going to see two backup quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, are we? I was like, this can't happen.
Dude, when Burrow went down, people were like, "Who's the backup? Who's the backup?"
And they're
I
all
was like,
Googling it.
It don't matter.
They're
If
gonna let
a-
Mixon throw it again.
Just-
if the
Halfback
backup
pass.
comes, if a backup comes in right now, I'm just gonna go home. I ain't gonna watch this.
Just turn
Super
it
Bowl
off.
anymore.
I'm just like, it's done, dude.
How about we just end in a tie? We'll replay this game in 2 months.
let these guys both get healthy.
We'll play next week.
We'll play next week. Well, I mean, Burrow only got a sprained MCL, right? We looked it up
Yeah.
earlier, so it was nothing really too serious. He's not going to need surgery or anything.
Stafford probably just a little sprained ankle.
Just rolled up ankle, which happens all the time.
I told Drew the day after, I was like, once again, another Super Bowl where no running game. You basically don't need a run game to win it.
Yeah.
Just think, and I was telling this guy, like, think about the last 20 years. What great running back has won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, none.
None.
None that I
The
can
last
think of.
one we went back to was
Falcon.
Marshall
Falk.
Falk.
And then my boy Darcy. Shout out to Darcy. He said Terrell Davis in the late
Of the
90s.
Broncos.
The back-to-back.
Yeah.
And then Marshall Falk in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And think about Brady.
That was it. Brady really didn't have a strong.
He was passing
running
to
game.
Danny Woodhead and
Yeah.
Kevin Falk.
Yeah.
Like he didn't his
And he had Sony Michelle and Devin White.
yeah. See, it
Which
wasn't
they
like
were.
big
I mean,
time
they were
guys.
solid,
For
but
that
they weren't
argument, though, like
superstars.
in the Super Bowl, do you want to give the ball to your running back or do you want to
Let
give the
your
ball to
quarterback
Tom
win it,
Brady?
yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's the biggest.
But
like,
I mean, even leading up to, like throughout the season, it's not like the Rams had completely no run game, right? Like there were some games where
Henderson
Yeah, Darrell Henderson had a couple
after
good
Akers
games.
went
Yeah.
out. Henderson played really well.
well, that's what I mean. Is like it's not like it was completely non-existent throughout the year.
No, there's games where they played really well. In the
I feel
run
like
game.
I feel like you need a run game to at least get you to the game.
yeah,
right?
You can argue that.
Yeah, to at least get you there, and then once you're there, whatever happens. Once
But at that point-
once you're in the game, that's why I mean we see how many times have we seen the better team lose in the Super Bowl, right? Which is it would at that point if you once you get there, you're there, and whatever happens, you just have to be the best
you
team.
bring up a
that
good
day.
argument. The white jersey wins again.
Oh yeah, exactly.
14-3 the last 17 Super Bowls.
White jerseys.
White jerseys.
Even though the Rams were technically at home,
Yeah.
they were
you
the
know?
away team, though.
They were the away team. Yeah, in the super spreader event of the year. That's one thing I was like, I just when they were showing all the celebrities and stuff.
No
nobody's-
mask.
no mask.
It was a requirement by the NFL. You got to mask up.
None of them were wearing masks.
mask.
Not in there.
That rule only
mask.
applies to us common folk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
not
the
people that
number-
were paying 20 grand for seats.
Right.
The number of celebrities. Oh my God, dude.
It's in LA. I mean,
It was insane.
you also got to think a lot of them were there to watch the halftime show,
Yeah.
right?
Oh hell yeah.
What'd you guys think about it? What'd you think about it?
It was. I honestly I liked it, but like I was like honestly like Dre and Snoop could have just done the show on their own, and
That's
I would have been
true,
cool
too.
with
It
that.
would've been cool,
I would have been
too.
like, hey,
Well, they've got like damn near 10 songs together. I mean,
yeah. That's
they
why I'm
could've-
like, you don't
Had
need
it just
to bring
been
in.
Snoop, it would have been dope.
Yeah, see, like you
Snoop-
didn't need to
Snoop
bring
was
in
dope.
like.
I think just
three
his
other people.
aura and his presence.
Well, to
It's
be fair,
just
everyone,
charisma.
I think, except for Mary J. Blige, you
Could have done it on their
Could
own.
have done it on their own.
That's true too.
Maybe not. 50
Yeah,
Cent,
because
but-
Kendrick and Eminem were kind of just features. I guess you would say they had their little piece, and that was
That's
it.
why I didn't like. Well, I didn't like the part because I'm like they only got to sing like one or like maybe half a song and
Right.
then another song, and that was it.
Had they had a little bit more,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's why I said like you should have just let them two do the show and it would have been fine.
that's true. Did you guys see? I don't know if you guys saw it, but when Snoop Dogg was
coming up the
taking
stairs.
a hit,
Yeah, he was like
I thought that
hiding.
was- dude, I thought that was dope. He's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'll be right back.
I don't know why he's hiding. There's like a million cameras in there. It's like-
He's about to get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm assuming the NFL told him he better not be smoking weed out there. So.
that's true. They're suspending players for it and stuff. If I mean, what's his name? Josh Gordon's career pretty much was ruined because of it.
They told Dr. Dre supposedly not to say the line where "still not loving police" in the,
Oh,
his
yeah.
song. He
Yeah.
still
And
said it.
Still said it. Huh?
And then
said
Eminem took a knee, and then they told him not
Oh,
to do
yeah.
that.
How, but
Even Kendrick had the Popo trying to kill us in the street full show.
See?
He still said it.
They,
I
they
don't
did whatever they
understand.
wanted.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you would tell Dr. Dre hey, don't say this about the police when they literally wrote "fuck the police" because of what they were told not to say.
Imagine during the contract negotiations, he goes, "Okay," and him and Snoop just look at each other. Just
This seems awfully familiar. Like we've been
Yeah.
down this road before.
right? Get your fucking contracts out of here, dude.
I thought it was amazing.
I liked it.
It was a great.
But the whole highlight of the halftime show was 50 Cent hanging upside down. It just looked, dude, he had to been sitting there for a minute.
That boy
dude.
Fatty Cent right there.
did you see the meme of that white kid that's got the vein?
Yeah.
And then he
He's
flipped it
upside
upside down. And they're like
did-
50 Cent waiting for his part. I was
They did
dying.
the Bazaar from D12 when he goes in and he does the same thing. The big dude from D12.
Oh, that's right. I seen that too. But I mean, who's sitting there and be like, you know what? That's a good idea. Yeah. this
I
is
don't think it
good.
was his idea.
Yeah, 50 Cent, you want me to do what?
Hey, you remember when you did one of the most iconic things ever and you hung upside down for a good portion of your song? Do it again.
He's all, dude, that was like 60 pounds ago.
Yeah.
Are
And like
you
15
kidding
years
me?
ago.
That was 25 cents ago,
Yeah,
man.
he's like- he probably doesn't even remember doing it. He's like, what? I did that?
I was wondering how long they were gonna like hold him up there, and then they panned off and they showed some girl dancing. I'm like, oh, his ass is
He's coming down.
He is
He's like,
climbing
oh, then
down.
He fixes his chain and everything. Oh, poor
Can you
guy.
imagine getting hit in the face from that chain upside down? Oh,
Yeah.
that's just gotta hurt.
Just the
He's like,
weight.
Fuck this, dude. It looked like they were torturing him.
You think someone was holding on to him, or was he holding himself?
No,
up?
there is a video that they showed later on where he actually lifted himself on there. Like it was like a pull-up bar or something.
So-
He
so
put
he
himself
did it
up there.
legit.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, he's out there doing CrossFit at the halftime
So
show.
50 still got it then.
Yeah,
huh?
I guess because they showed a video where he pulls himself up there right before they panned him like going down.
I mean, yeah, he looked fat, but he looked like a solid fat, like right, like he was like
Aaron Donald.
No,
No, Aaron Donald's not
No,
not that fat.
Oh, I
Definitely
thought you said fit, not fat. My bad.
no. Oh yeah,
no.
but you could tell he's still going in, benching in his Timberlands at least once a week or twice a week.
He can hit 10 reps at 220.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
And then he's done.
it's easy to bench 220 when
Should
you
I be
weigh
done
like
too?
260. I mean, right?
I would have known.
But no, yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun. It was very LA vibe.
I
Looking
enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't like, it was still daylight.
Yeah, the sun was out.
That really killed it. I thought they did a lot of little things that were super cool, like the big old map of LA that they were on the whole
That
time.
was cool. That
And
was
then
cool.
when Eminem starts rapping "Lose Yourself," they all throw on the hoodies like
Yeah.
from 8 Mile, and they all
Mhm.
rush the stage, like little things like that. They
Well,
did, I thought was pretty
even
cool.
with Kendrick coming out of the boxes, I
Yeah.
think that was dope too.
Yeah, it was sick, dude.
You know,
The only thing that I was like, was Mary J. Blige, but I'm not a big Mary J. Blige
yeah,
fan.
same here.
So everything else, I
She
thought
can
was
still
super
sing
sick.
though. Like,
Yeah,
being as old as
Yeah.
she is, she still sounded pretty good. Because I know some people like they lose their touch right when they get older.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she still sounded pretty good. I felt like, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I was like, do we need this?
no, yeah, no. I could have used another Eminem song
Right.
instead.
So then here's a question for you guys.
Yeah,
Which team out of those two is more likely to go back?
the Rams.
Come on, man.
Interesting, because I was watching Around the Horn yesterday, and everybody
Yeah.
on the panel said the Bengals because they said the argument was the Rams would lose players because they're not gonna have enough money to sign people, and then the counter or the second argument was because the Bengals have more money and more draft picks.
Until they finally start getting veteran offensive linemen now, because you don't want to get young offensive linemen for Joe Burrow because they're a win now team.
Yeah,
You need vet. Until they start bringing in veteran offensive linemen, I can't see them doing much better than what they did.
I agree. I feel like if they're gonna make a run, they have to do it within like the next 3 years while Joe Burrow is still on that rookie contract.
Yeah,
And
'cause then he's
and
gonna
if they
get paid.
if they can keep some of the thing is if you take into consideration how much those veterans are making on the defensive side, if they can hold those guys together,
Then
that's
you
the
can
thing
pay
is
your offensive
then
guys.
you could pay your offensive guys and then just because you already have the superstar Chase, you have Tyler Boyd.
You're gonna have to pay two guys. You're gonna have
Your
to pay
T.
Chase
Higgins.
and Burrow.
Your two best
Yeah.
players are currently on rookie contracts. You need
Exactly.
to go out and get vets.
So that's like you take advantage and then you invest in an offensive line.
So it's basically what Seattle was like 7-8 years ago when they had
Russell on the rookie contract.
They
Yeah.
won it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went back, but then they lost.
They lost. That's when they lost to New England.
But then Russell starts getting paid.
And then that's when and then you see that trend go throughout the league because the same thing happened with Rodgers, right? Wins the Super Bowl, right? He had stars around him, especially on the defense. That's the thing a lot of people forget. I mean, the defense for that Packers team was like legit.
Matthews, Woodson.
Woodson, and then they had Raji.
Yeah, BJ
Raji. And then they give him the big contract, and then look what happened to the Packers. They haven't really been all that great up until recently.
They're a great
right?
regular season team.
Yeah, but then they never do anything in the postseason. So if they can invest in their offensive line right now, then for sure they can make a run.
Well, they said they had like almost $50 million in cap space, and
Yeah.
one guy on the panel was like, "You need to spend all of that
Yeah.
on O line."
And then the key thing for the Bengals is if you have an established quarterback, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, because it makes
Right? Because
everything else flow.
you start pulling guys in. You don't have to worry about the position anymore. Like you know that you have a dude, and who Joe Burrow played pretty well, right? Up until I mean, no good quarterback can play without good protection.
But
right?
how many? Like my second thought was how many of the Bengals guys are gonna want to get paid now? Like Mixon
on the defense?
Like Mixon finished third, I think, in the league in rushing. You know, so does he
Yeah.
want a bigger contract extension
Can you
now?
imagine how good he would have been with a better offensive line?
Joe Mixon.
Oh yeah.
He's had some pretty solid years. when Andy Dalton was there.
Yeah, and he's not just like good at rushing the ball. Like he finished third in rushing, but he's really good
receiving.
like receiving. Like that's why it's like
he's a pretty good, solid all around running back. But obviously the future is going to be Joe Burrow. So if he really wants to go get paid somewhere else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, we can draft another running back in like the 3rd or 4th round.
Because like I said, you don't need a running back.
You don't need that great of a running back. You just need a solid ground game. Yeah. That's all you need.
Something to get you there.
Just something to get you there. You know, and then once you're there in the big game, whatever happens. Yeah. You know, but the thing is they have a guy like Joe Burrow who can put the team on his back and actually make plays. He's not just a good quarterback. He's probably gonna be a pretty great quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm. The ceiling's high right now.
The ceiling's pretty high for Joe Burrow. So if he's able to pull guys in and invest in the offensive line, keep some of those defensive players around, yes, they can make a run. However, you still have New England, you still have the Chiefs, you still have the Bills, and then you still have, I guess you could just throw the Chargers in there because they have Justin Herbert, right? It's the AFC is still super competitive.
And the Ravens.
Lamar. You have Lamar. You know,
I'm going to count the Raiders next year. I think the Raiders
whatever quarterback Pittsburgh ends up getting, you know, maybe same thing with
Buffalo.
Denver.
AFC's going to be good,
It's stacked. The thing is stacked. And so yeah, the Bengals can make a run for sure.
Maybe with McDaniels. With this cornball stuff.
You mean the black guy?
Hey, we don't judge race here.
Maybe that was Ross's. That's why he picked him. He's like, "You're half black, right?"
I guess we've compromised enough.
No, someone in
we'll meet you halfway.
Someone in Dolphins Twitter said one day, "Wait till Ross finds out he's actually African American." I was like, wow.
I said it last week.
Yeah.
No, but I seen it again. Yeah. And people were like making fun of it, like, wait till he actually knows who he really is. Yeah. I was like, oh.
I'm thinking maybe that's his compromise. Yeah, I got in trouble, fired the black guy, but how about I hire a halfer? Let me hire.
We'll meet in the middle.
We'll meet halfway. You're not all the way black, but
yeah, that's my thing about the Bengals. The Rams can run it back. If they can hang on to the superstars, that's the
problem though. Like, how many guys are? Same thing. How many guys are gonna want to get paid?
But I mean, I feel like they're long enough in their careers where they're like, we could do this again. And I mean, just look at what happened with the Bucks, right?
But who needs to get paid on that team?
You don't think Aaron Donald's gonna want a bigger contract now?
He's contemplating retirement, which I don't think he's gonna do.
There was one report that said like he'd consider like playing again if he's the highest paid defensive player in the league.
I already saw today that he's not retiring. Like,
there's no way that's happening.
But I mean, I don't see them throwing more money his way. Not yet.
So does Cup ask for an extension with money?
Maybe. I mean, you were the Triple Crown wide receiver this year.
Super
Bowl MVP.
Hold on. OBJ's he's done with the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then you got
up.
Woods coming back next year, right?
Off an ACL injury.
And then you got Cooper Kupp too.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, you take Cooper Kupp out of those three. Then what do you do after that? Because I'm thinking you probably play only one of those guys.
And then they still have Woods, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you only pay one of those guys. You don't pay both.
Mm-hmm.
You could
3 guys with ACL injuries. Cup tore it 2 years ago.
You could pay them on the low. Like, hey, we'll give you hella incentives.
Yeah,
but we're not going to give you the fat contract.
It's going to be like the Antonio Brown contract. Like, hey,
well, OBJ hit all of his incentives with the Rams.
Get X amount of yards, get X amount of touchdowns, and you'll get all this money.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not gonna pay you off that injury just to kind of be average. You got to earn it.
Having an ACL injury this late into the season, like you're obviously not going to be ready for.
He's not, because usually it's a calendar year, an ACL injury. I mean, we've seen some players come back a lot faster.
Yeah, it's
right?
down to like 8 months now, though. Like I've seen.
I mean, Adrian Peterson came out fast, right?
Yeah, but his was like
ACL.
His rehab was one of like the freakiest ones they've
just
ever
like
seen.
A freak athlete.
Yeah, they just said like his body just absorbed it.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it'd be like if everything goes well, he gets into surgery right away. It's like week 1, you're cleared for activity.
Possibly.
like
I mean, you probably
contact.
I don't think he plays till October though. Like
could
maybe
probably get him
halfway
back-
through the season.
Yeah,
back at the end of the year.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, week 1 he's cleared for like some contacted practice.
But I mean, knowing the Rams, do you think they take that chance? They're
If they get him on a bargain, yeah.
he'll take a
dude,
pay cut.
yeah.
OBJ
Because if you think about
no room
if you think
to
about
negotiate
some of the receivers that are going to be available next year, I mean, you have a guy like I would like say like Juju still available, which I mean he's not going to come in and be the number one
I was gonna throw
target.
Michael Gallup out there, but he's also done with
he's got the
injury.
ACL. So I mean, if you throw a guy like Juju in there, who I guess it's kind of a similar kind of playing style as Odell, because Odell's not like he's not like going to stretch the field big time, right? Not like some of the faster receivers.
But
I
I feel like-
would take an injured Odell over Juju.
Yeah,
Really?
I feel like Juju kind
Yeah.
of plays a similar role to Cooper Kupp. Like he
The
has
in-
to
the
be
inside.
the one. Yeah, the inside guy working
Mhm.
inside out. That's what I think about him. When
But-
he's at his
but-
peak.
Yeah, but that was a good one. Michael Gallup could have been another guy. He can stretch the field.
Cooper, what? He's more of a slot guy, right?
Yeah,
He-
but they
he's
move
not-
him
he's-
around
they move
a
him
lot.
around.
Yeah, but he's not as much of a downfield threat.
Yeah.
No.
Catch the ball within 10 yards of the line, and then work your magic.
He's an extension of
They-
the running
they-
game.
Well,
need the-
fact of the matter is that Robert Woods is going to come back, right? So I mean,
I don't know his contract situation, but yeah.
But I mean, if he's gonna be healthy, you're probably gonna bring him back versus Odell. I would take Woods over Odell.
It's just tough not to pay Odell after he comes in and makes that big of an impact.
Yeah, so then he's going to have plenty of suitors then. There's going to be plenty of teams that
That are
ask
gonna
for
want
his
to go.
services.
Yeah, that's true. Well, like I mean, we might see, like I said, kind of a trend where like there's a lot of similarities between this Super Bowl and last Super Bowl, where you just like you had the big time players that came in. This is their first year with the team. You know, they really didn't have like an explosive season during the regular season, but they performed in the playoffs and then they made plays in the Super Bowl, which you had like Gronk, who caught a 2 touchdown passes, right, in the Super Bowl. You had AB, who caught a touchdown pass, and then you had Fournette, who carried them into the playoffs, right? And that's what we got. We had Von Miller got a sack, OBJ got his touchdown, you know, and then Cooper Kupp just made plays. And then, the fucking Stafford, too.
That Bucks
Right.
team like re-signed everyone.
And a lot of them took pay cuts, I think,
Mhm.
except for like the big guys, like Levante David got
Yeah.
more money, but he ended up getting hurt I think, towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this offseason. I mean, we can fill a whole episode on just talking about every team's offseason and what they need to do. But what I want to get into, some of these owners, especially over in Dallas.
Yay, Jerry.
We didn't read much up into it, OC, but what have you got for us, man? You got anything there?
Well, I just read the report that, like they kind of try to sneak it by everybody. I felt like
very interesting.
Post
man.
it like a couple of days after the Super Bowl and just like,
Yeah.
hey, but we talked about this. Like, there's so much that we don't know.
that goes on behind closed doors.
And then
in
like
the
you
NFL.
start seeing like
It's
little
2016, right?
Yeah, and then you start seeing little leaks like
6
this.
years
Like
ago.
this dude like was like literally in the locker room like
filming like obviously taking advantage of his authority, right?
yeah, and
Cheerleaders, to be clear.
because they said he gained access to like
Well,
the
let's
security
let's
like key or something.
let's catch everybody up before we get too much into it. So I guess it's a Cowboys executive back in 2016. What was his name?
I don't know.
I don't know. But he was a Cowboys
I don't even know what this
executive.
guy's job is.
Close. He's I guess a close assistant to Jerry Jones, which I saw one of the tweets you said that he was his longtime fixer. Whatever the hell that means.
I don't know what is a fix.
I just know it said like senior VP of something, and I was just like,
I think it was like the senior VP of like public relations.
I don't know,
But like so I guess in 2016.
No wonder it was covered up super easily.
yeah,
It happened
himself.
It happened at the stadium, right?
Yeah,
Which it was like there was an event going on, and then he kind of used his authority to get into the girls' locker room, the cheerleaders' locker room, and was filming them. There was 4 of them, right? And they were filming while they were changing into. I guess they were going from one outfit to another, and he was in the middle of the changing area filming them, and then they kind of just gave them hush money to make this all go away, pretty much, right? Essentially, that's what happened. What What is interesting though is how the story got out. Because if you're going to pay somebody that much money, what was it, $2.4 million to all 4 of them? Not each, but all
each.
400,000 each.
To each, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm pretty sure the rest probably went to like their lawyers and stuff. Because
it's only there's
there's still like 800.
half.
There's still like 800K on the table
left,
right? So you're negotiating this. You want to keep it private. You want to keep it in house, and when you take that money, you have a kind of an obligation, right, to keep quiet because you're getting paid, right?
So how does the story get out?
So how does the story get out? Which is what I mean. I'm not saying like what they did was right.
Someone wants it to get out,
but somebody wanted it to get out. Like you don't just put this out by accident, right?
So then I start to think about the Deshaun Watson case, and because those girls or the victims in that case,
they want some type of settlement.
They want a settlement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Deshaun Watson, his lawyer said, no, you're not getting us. Or after the fact, right? He said like, no, we're not settling anymore. Like,
maybe there's so much going on right now, and a lot of this, Jerry Jones had it leaked himself.
Why would what incentive would he have to leak it?
Does he know something else is coming? Something bigger?
Maybe it's better for it to be out there than have him start digging into the Cowboys.
I hate going back to The Office, but what did Michael Scott say? If you put the story out there, you control the story. If it goes out there, the story controls you.
Dude, does he want to get dragged through the mud like they're doing to the commander in chief over there?
And that's another thing too. It's just because I feel like all this is. It's kind of like watching, like I guess, like maybe like a show like House of Cards or something, which all these different entities is interconnected. Like it's just like you're looking at all these organizations and their owners for years, probably getting away whatever the fuck they wanted to get away with,
probably
right?
Still,
and all these executives, and there's just like you got the allegations with Ross. Tanking, all the sexual assault charges on Dan Snyder, whatever. I mean, some of the stuff that was going on in New England with Robert Kraft, right? Yeah. And then now we got this that's going on in Dallas, which, I mean, I don't think this is all happening by accident.
No.
I think things are just starting to open up, and we're starting to, I think there's probably going to be more. Mm-hmm. There's definitely more to this story, because you don't just pay somebody that much money and then it gets out, and then you just say, okay, well.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I just threw it out there. I mean, without a whole lot of thought, is you throw this out there, and then you make everyone pay attention to this story when you're covering up this story over here. So instead of
the focus shifts.
Yes,
see what you're saying.
Jerry Jones can control. You guys look at what we did really bad right here. And don't focus on what we did over here.
Don't dig into that.
Exactly. Don't bring in any investigations, because you assume now the NFL is going to start investigating every team, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say the NFL is oblivious to everything going on. Mm-hmm. They're going to start investigating teams, right?
Now there's this overcorrection. Mm-hmm. What you're trying to say is like that's what's coming up next.
Yeah. Okay. And so if Jerry Jones can be like, hey, look at, you know what? A few years ago, we got in trouble doing this right over here. Pay attention to this. Don't go digging into the rest of my shit.
The other stuff that's going
on. And then with a lot of other drama out there right now, he's not taking the sole hit right now. It's a good time to be going through this drama, because you know what? There's a lot of other guys that are doing stupid shit too. So you can't focus all on, Jerry Jones right now. Like everyone was focusing on Snyder at that moment. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy fucked up. Everyone's hating Snyder right now. It's like, look, there's a bunch of people doing it right now. Throw it out there. We're not going to take all the heat for this at the moment. So that's just kind of something that I'm just kind of throwing together right there.
No,
I could be way off base, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Might be a check swing.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying, and I like where you're taking it, and I don't think you're that far off, honestly, because you got to look into the investigation of Dan Snyder, right? Where it's just like it was kind of, I mean, yeah, they had an investigation, but did they really? Right? It's just like, and then Dan Snyder wants to go out and be like, we'll handle it in house.
It feels
take care of it.
Like, to go back to what Andrew says, like maybe they think like with self-reporting, like it's just gonna take the heat off of them.
It's gonna
be.
Is that
what you're saying?
Yeah.
it's sufficient enough to kind of just get the NFL
Like,
off our
hey,
back.
we're gonna slap ourselves on
Right.
the wrist, so don't take it too harsh.
Yes.
Right? But
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. Are you gonna take that, Roger Goodell, or are you actually gonna
Yeah.
investigate deeper into whatever is going on?
Because it's just like it's crazy. You hear all the stories that are coming out of Washington that involve Dan Snyder and then involve him directly. It's hard to say, like, how does he still have his franchise? And then because I know they're still doing the investigation with Ross with the whole tanking stuff, and then if it comes out to be true what Brian Flores is saying, how does he still have his franchise?
It goes to a vote. Like
It
I
goes
was
to a vote,
reading
right?
into it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
That was my next question. Is like, this kind of sounds stupid, but can you take away his franchise?
Yeah,
Can you
there's-
take it away from him?
You could
there's-
force them to sell it, right?
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
force to sell, but like I was reading into the whole Dolphins situation, and like if I think two thirds of the owners like say yeah we want you out, then you're out. Like it goes to a vote.
Jerry Jones is never going to get kicked
no.
out. He's done way too much for football.
But that's
He's
what
put more money into everyone's pockets.
Yeah.
But
So
that's
you
that's
would
what I'm
need
saying
you would
is
need what
just-
like about 23, 22 owners to say yeah get them out, and a lot of these guys are buddies, so they're not gonna vote their buddy out.
And that's what I was going to go into. It's just like, I mean, these are your peers, right? And then
Yeah.
it's just like how we talked about before, where it's just there's things going on behind closed doors, but there's also a lot of people who are interconnected that know that shit, that know that this is going on. You know, like when they have like, you know, these fancy dinners or whatever, these fundraisers that these teams go and they go, you know, mingle with everybody. It's like everybody talks. So they have to know what's going on in different organizations,
Yeah.
right? What different owners are doing what. And like you said, like if it goes to a vote, are they really going to vote him out? Or are they just going to, I mean, you kind of have to play your hand because then it's like you got to protect the integrity of the league, because then if it's like
Is the vote public or is it unanimous?
I think-
or anonymous.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because
I
if
don't
it's
know.
anonymous,
Then
you could
then
get that guy
he'll-
kicked
yeah,
out.
Yeah.
for sure.
You can get the shit that needs to be done right done.
But
If
that,
it's anonymous.
But
If it's anonymous.
that could almost just serve like as a band-aid. Like it would be like, okay, well, let's get them out of here. That way people don't come sniffing around everybody else's organization. You know, just they could say like, oh, we took care of it. It's over. It's done. Don't look into it anymore.
But the way the NFL is, it's probably not anonymous because they want to know every single detail and who voted which way. It's like, you know, so it'd be cool if it is anonymous, but I doubt it.
But it's insane, especially going back into the Dallas case. It's like that's a lot of money, you
It
know.
is.
And then they had an internal investigation.
Not for Jerry Jones.
Well, I mean, they had an internal investigation, and they concluded that no wrongdoing had happened. That was their internal investigation conclusion. That
Yeah, from their side, right?
their side. But the guy still retired shortly after, and then they still paid all that money, and then still somehow the information still gets out, which obviously they were trying to keep under wraps.
Yeah.
For sure, to pay that much money. So yeah, I mean, my biggest question is, well, one, how did the story get out? And then
someone leaked it.
And then two is, can we start looking into all these other owners and all these other organizations?
It's not by accident that a story
Right.
like that gets out. So
Exactly.
You see, I take it you watched the House of Cards then?
No,
No,
no, but
you made
I
the
mean,
reference earlier.
I know I made the reference, but it's just
they talk a lot about in DC how stories get out, and it's all politicians leaking their own shit.
yeah,
It's what they want you to know. They leak what you want. They control what you learn, so you don't pay attention to this shit over
Yeah.
here.
So then that brings me to the topic of Kyler Murray and what's going down in Arizona.
I think it's a power move of him just trying to get paid. He's trying to.
He's not going full Kanye.
But like, I don't get like there's two sides to it, you know, like who's like they brought it up. Both of them are on their option year, so or after this year, I think
both of them.
Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray.
Well, just
So-
to give everybody
Kingsbury.
a backstory that doesn't know, Kyler Murray. This happened last week or a couple
like
days
2
ago.
days or like the day
Yeah.
after the Super Bowl.
He deleted all connections to the Arizona Cardinals off his social media, and I guess he just left up a couple of pictures. It was just him at the Pro Bowl, and then another one
Him in
Oklahoma, and that was it. Which, I mean, Kyler Murray's what, 24 years old?
Something like 25, because he's probably on his third.
Yeah,
he just finished up his third year.
This shit happens a lot.
That's how these younger athletes or this younger generation that's how they get their point across.
Yeah,
so obviously
they want the attention.
Obviously, a direct shot at the Cardinals, and then the Cardinals, their social media, they deleted all their pictures except for the same picture of Kyler Murray at the Pro Bowl, and then another one with Kyler Murray.
Well, because I thought
at the draft, Kyler Murray getting drafted.
I just thought it was interesting the way that the story came out, because then they started coming leaks from the game. Like they were starting to say like, oh, this is what he was doing in the locker room during halftime. Like he was FaceTiming his girlfriend. Like obviously,
and now they're taking shots at him.
Yeah, like what kind of person? Like you're obviously leaking personal, like inside the locker room stories. So someone is doing that on purpose.
Wait, hold on.
I'm gonna take a shot here. Not to like get like too crazy, but it's like, are we getting a Deshaun Watson part 2?
I don't know.
Where he's just like, I'm trying to get out of here.
It could be, but because like you think about the stories.
Why would he want out? He's got offensive weapons. He's got defensive weapons. Why would he want to get out?
Maybe it's the way they finish, or maybe it's his contract. He wants more money.
So it was that story. So they leaked that he was in the locker room FaceTiming his girlfriend during when they're supposed to be making halftime adjustments.
Hey, that's
and then
that's not good. Like
that's why. Like
that's not a quality leak. That's like the leak that you
like. That's very personal.
Like you're done.
Yeah, like you don't leak locker room stuff because like that's personal. That's between like
ask
the
Nick
guys.
Young about that.
But again, it's like obviously is it the organization? Is it somebody that's trying to get him out? Is it himself leaking it because he's trying to like get himself to get out of there? You know, like it could be
very interesting.
You can't see what kind of angle they're trying to take because
see what you're saying.
People are trying to figure out like who's leaking it. Is it the team? Or is it himself because he's trying to push himself out? Or is it
Has
team?
anyone denied it?
He came out with a statement saying like, well, I'm all about the team. Like I would never.
Kyler Murray didn't leak it.
So then
whoever denies it is the one that didn't leak it. Obviously.
Yeah, because I just thought like I'm like that's messed up because even like listening to all these like NFL dudes like the first thing they said is like what happens in the locker room like stays in the locker room. Like stuff like that shouldn't be getting out. So that was like very personal.
Don't be D'Angelo Russell.
Wow, dude.
So
some interesting stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was reading
leaks.
Yeah, I was reading about it because like I was like seeing all this slander about Kyler because like they were talking, or he was upset he felt like the Cardinals set him up for failure during that playoff blowout against the Rams in the first round. He was upset about it. And then slander started coming out. He
just got outplayed in one game, dude.
Yeah, but like he was, I guess, like blaming the Cardinals for setting him up. Like I
remember that
indirectly taking shots at Kingsbury.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Kingsbury was that good throughout the season. I think by their quality skill is the reason why they started 7-0, and then they got out coached the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they got out coached, and then it's just. That scheme could only take you so far, which, I mean, Kingsbury, he's made adjustments to his scheme, but it's just, I mean, also the strength of schedule. They also started early off beating up on a bunch of nobodies. But, I mean, when they made a statement when they did beat the Rams, they beat the Niners pretty bad.
Smoked the Cowboys.
They beat the Cowboys, so it's just like it looked like they were the real deal there for a second. But, yeah, I'm with Drew. I don't see where this would come from. I do remember him coming out and saying that they set him up for failure for that Ram game.
And then that's when I told you guys that all these stories started popping off about him in the locker room. And
it's so weird because, I mean, he's got quality receivers. He's got a decent line. He's got some good running backs. The defense is pretty good. Why would you fuck up the situation?
He's starting to come off as a selfish kind of person, like a diva. Like because up until this point he's been pretty quiet. I mean he hasn't really ever come out and like said anything negative about the team.
He's not painted in a bad light.
Exactly. So I mean but out of nowhere he's starting to paint that image of himself.
But I mean is it like because I remember a couple weeks ago I brought up how ownership was mad at Kingsbury for the way they finished, and now Kyler's mad at the team.
Is he? I mean.
Like
so-
everyone seems to be pissed off at each other.
So I mean, is he?
Shit, I would too.
Is his relationship with
Cardinals.
Kingsbury just not as good as we thought? Maybe he's trying to push him out because I mean, Deshaun Watson, his main issue, he was upset because they didn't give him any say so on who they wanted to hire. Maybe is this Kyler's way of like, hey, get this guy out of here? I feel like I have more merit for this organization because I'm the quarterback. I'm your number 1 overall pick. Get him out of here, or I'm gone.
That could be an option because
You
like
know?
he's trying to like force his way to say like, hey, like both of us have our contracts up at the same time.
Right.
It's either him or me.
Because
Who you gonna pick?
you see, I mean, you see how many of these quarterbacks, right? You have awesome quarterbacks, throughout their careers, but they have zero say so on like the actual personnel of the team.
Yeah, but the NFL.
But then you see what happened with Tom Brady, and then you see what happened with Stafford,
Manning
with
when he
Manny,
went to,
and then the whole fiasco with Rodgers. That's what I'm saying is like there's a new trend where it's just like now these quarterbacks, they want to say so on their team. Like this is like maybe this is like where the new direction that the NFL is heading, where it's just like not one guy is going to have an absolute say so in the team.
Yeah.
Right now it's going to be more of a collaboration. Right.
It's a very interesting way to put it because, like, it's like a very, like, player-driven league now, especially for the quarterbacks. Like, they kind of dictate what they want. So,
exactly. As long as your quarterback's happy, your franchise is happy.
So, full circle here, just to, like, kind of wrap up that.
Yeah.
So, we had Tampa Bay host last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Win it. Then we had L.A. host the Super Bowl and win it.
Are you saying
Well,
the Raiders?
No. It's in Arizona. What if we're
Arizona.
talking all this trash and somehow Arizona pulls it off in their own stadium next year?
That's right.
And then it's the Raiders in 2 years.
Maybe.
Do you know where the
Very
Cowboys
possibly.
won the Super Bowl last? Arizona.
Oh, you were alive for that. Huh?
I was.
Shout out to Shu. Andrew remembers the Super Bowl party from when he was 3.
I remember. I got a jacket, Super Bowl jacket. It's got the little patch with the little cactus on it.
Picturing you as a little kid, it's very difficult. I'm just picturing
A small person with a big head.
The same head on just a different body.
You're not wrong.
You guys about ready to wrap this up?
That's why I got a scoliosis.
That was
dude.
fun. That Kyler Murray stuff is interesting, dude. We gotta look into it more, and we'll talk.
Yeah,
about
maybe
it
more
next
will
week.
come out during the week or next week.
Yeah.
We don't.
They got to give us something to talk about. There's no more games.
Yeah.
Or we can start talking about other sports.
Next week for sure, we got to start talking about Champions League. The
Yeah.
Champions League is starting.
When does United play?
Next week.
Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Ooh, so does Chelsea.
Oh, they play
Oh, yeah.
Atletico, right?
Yeah.
I did see that.
And
See, I
then
pay
Chelsea,
attention.
Chelsea plays.
Wow,
Lille.
look at you.
Yeah, I was watching
Who
PSG.
played today?
I didn't. I was watching PSG and Real yesterday on my lunch.
Changed it before
I was
this
talking-
whole.
This dude's so salty that PSG won.
I was talking trash. I was talking to one of my friends. I was like, "Hey, is PSG gonna like lose or not win at home?" And then Mbappe scores.
It
that
just
goal.
scores.
I'm just
I
like,
don't know.
"Oh, great!"
Damn,
I just
dude.
sent that text.
Real Madrid
Dude.
had played it perfect, dude. They were like, let's hold the draw, let's get out of here.
We'll win at home.
Let's get them frustrated. We'll win at home, and then it took one slip up. That's all
PSG
it
is
took.
always good through to the quarterfinal.
Hey,
that's true.
Courtois played his.
He
butt
played
off,
his butt
yeah.
off. Yeah, I mean,
He's
there
one
were
hell of a keeper.
there
dude.
were
He's better
awesome,
than David De Gea. Say that.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
Guaranteed, Nick.
Yeah.
Better than.
I mean, there were some
De Gea.
awesome saves, but you can tell the way the shots were coming in. It was not like there were clear cut opportunities. Like they were like struggling to get shots off. So I mean, the saves were awesome. Not to take anything away from the saves, but it's not like the scheme didn't help in Courtois' favor.
Who was it? Man City beat the living snot out of. Was it Sporting?
Yeah.
Sporting
it-
Lisbon.
Lisbon.
Oh, they're
team.
Portuguese, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was like,
No.
man, dude, these
Hey,
scraped
so
them
you
off.
better make sure you brush up on your Champions
Yeah,
League
no,
for
yeah.
next week.
I've
Yeah, we'll
been
get it going.
watching.
Chelsea plays Tuesday. Lille, the French
Yeah.
team.
We'll get it going. We'll talk.
Yeah, I got a
Champions
question.
League
I
next
got a
week.
question for
Yeah.
you before we wrap this up.
Mhm.
Who's the best keeper in the world?
Nick Landeros,
He'd say David De Gea.
class of
David De Gea?
06?
No, not by far.
Is David De Gea top 5 keeper in the world?
Not even.
Is he top 10?
Probably top 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
I
is
would
coming
put him
from
top
the
10.
guy with a United
Yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I would. It's hard to say
Say
the best one in the world.
I know you want to say.
I mean, Courtois up there, but I would honestly put Oblak up there too. Yeah.
What has he done recently? Nothing.
Yeah, that's another thing is that Atletico has
He lost. He lost to the actual best goalkeeper in the world last year, Edward Mendy.
What about my boy Donnarumma?
Keylor Navas is the best goalkeeper.
Oh my God! Osvaldo Sanchez, we're going down
that dude needs a cane to get out there.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here today.
In the Europa League.
If you guys like what we're doing here, make sure you guys like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. For everybody listening everywhere else, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys all next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you.